All right, hey there. Good morning, everybody. Christopher Franks with Texas West Capital. It's just after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Monday, the 28th of September, 2020, San Antonio, Texas. What's going on, guys? I see Powey's here. What's up, buddy? Glad you could check in for a bit. Data's here as well. Of course, everybody else checking in. Evolution, what's going on, bud? Glad to see y'all checking here. So this weekend, Bitcoin kind of doing what Bitcoin does. And, weekends are a pain in the rear end to trade, guys. I mean, I'll tell you what, I take weekends off. And I'm not, I couldn't be happier, guys. I'll be honest. Well, if I could take more days off, maybe. But, I'm not worried about weekend stuff. Weekend's a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of shenanigans by a bunch of hooligans, or at least a few. Why stress yourself out with weekend price action, right? Just come back a week when everybody's working, everybody's actually doing their thing, and then you'll get in there and be a little bit better off. But even if you don't take the weekends off, guys, you should take at least a couple of days off somewhere throughout the week. You've got to do it. You've got to disconnect. I know you may not believe me, but I don't know how else to tell you guys. Honestly, you've got to take that time off. The stress that builds up in your subconscious that you don't even recognize is going to cause you to make silly and stupid mistakes that you wouldn't normally make. And you go, why the heck did I do that? It's because you don't take any time off. It's like everything else. You can get burned out, guys. With the market here, if you're looking at charts all the time and looking at, smaller time frames, because all you're doing is looking at the chart, right? And if you're looking at the 1 hour, there's not a whole lot going on, or the 4 hour, right? So you zoom into the 5 minute or the 15 minute. Price action's constantly moving. You got all these things going in your mind. Which way is it going to do? What's it going to do? But there's all that noise, all that overlap. And so you're looking and you think it's one thing, and then you think it's another, and then you think it's another. And heaven forbid you're trying to trade it. Most people, eventually they listen to me. Eventually. It takes a little bit, though. I was the same way when I first started. But trust me, you'll be a lot better off if you can take some of that time off. So let me see who else is showing up here. We've got Kyle, we've got Gerben, we've got LXT. What's going on, guys? Zet's here. Man, no allergies this morning, but I don't know how long that's going to last. We got some weather blowing in today, next couple of days. So mornings are kind of cool for San Antonio lately. Mornings are 50 to 60 degrees, and days are going to be like about 80, 85. So, kind of letting us know that fall may be coming in, I guess. Excuse me. Hey there, Satoshi Ray Bitcoin. What's going on, man? He's looking for that wave 3 down. Yeah, me too. It'd be a nice move, right? We'll see what's going on here locally. We're about to talk about that. What's going on, Hank, LG, Boss Rick? What's up? What's up? Sean, yo. Let's see here. Zed says, I told someone this weekend that I don't trade on weekends, and he was very adamant that I am missing out. Bitcoin trades different on weekends, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. I agree. The thing is, guys, eventually you get to this point. If you're in the market long enough, you get to this point where you feel the same way. Here's the thing, guys. If you're traders, you're not worried about missing the big move, because all that concerns you is that when you trade, whenever it is, when you do trade, that there's volatility. That's all you care about. And I'm not talking about the sudden $500 price swings, because those are a pain in the rear end. But the volatility gets price moving in a bit more predictable manner. As long as that's going on, guys, you're good, right? But I think too many of y'all, you say you're traders, but what you're looking for is to catch the bottom of a $10,000 move or something. But the funny thing is, even if you got that or got near to it, you wouldn't hold on for the $10,000 move. Most of y'all would continue to trade out of it. You take profit. You get scared, which is fine. It's fine to take profit, but I mean, it all comes in how you look at it. And are you being honest with yourself when it moves and how it moves? And I think that's one of the biggest problems a lot of new traders get, is that they're not honest with themselves. I think it's exasperated as far as because of online, because everybody thinks they have to show that they're these great traders to everybody else online. Who cares what everybody else thinks, guys? Stop caring about it. Listen. I do this professionally. I've been doing this for a freaking quarter of a century. I could not care less what anybody thinks of the way I trade. Why? Because it works for me. It makes me a lot of money. At the end of the day, regardless of what some Yahoo online says, because they tuned into 3 minutes of one podcast, or something, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And it should. So if it doesn't matter to me, guys, it shouldn't matter to you. That's the thing. Stop letting it bother you. Stop letting it, make you do. Because what happens is when you let that bother you, when you let what somebody else online says define who and what you are and how you're going about what you're doing, when you let that happen, you've already lost. Because then you're more concerned about making them happy than about doing what you need to do for you. Stop letting them tell you what to do, guys. Stop. Don't worry about it. They only have the power you allow them to have. I'm telling you right now, mute. Not even mute. Do a block. Block is one of the best friends online. Somebody comes off like an idiot or something, just block him. You don't even have to warn them. And you go, oh, but then somebody's going to say that, that I'm scared of this. No, who cares who cares what somebody says, guys? You really spend way too much time worrying about it. You really do. Don't worry. If you're going to be online, then you absolutely have to get out of this thing where you're worried about what other people say online. Because most of the people, either they're going to be jerks just to be jerks, or they're not going to listen completely, or they're going to do like 3 minutes, they're going to take out a couple of words of what you said and cause this big, huge thing. You don't have to spend your time dealing with it. Life is way too short. I hope to God I'm getting across to y'all. Because I'm going to tell you what, it makes life so much better if you don't worry about it. All right? So let me see here. Zet, you say it's freezing there in Germany? Hey there, Chris Day, Brian Riley. Let me see, who else is here? Tell you, Ryder, what's going on, bud? Chris Babb is here as well. Hank says sideways sucks. I don't even look at charts until it makes a move from there. Sideways kills accounts. It does, guys. If you're going to trade sideways, you absolutely have to understand where your range is. And you're selling a rejection off the top, off the range resistance, or you're buying a bounce off the range lows, the support. If you're trading, especially most traders are trying to trade that middle area where all that really flips. Don't do that. You want to lose your money. That's how you lose your money. Stop doing that. Look for the higher confidence trades, not just the trades that might have a chance. All right. Kyle says so much miscommunication online. There really is. And most people don't care. See, this is the problem. Most people in life, guys, you'll notice. And maybe you've been guilty of it as well. But most people in life, they don't try to understand. They don't seek to understand. They don't seek to listen. They seek to be heard. Regardless of whether what they say it makes any sense or is worth really listening to. They just want to be heard. Social media really, really compounds this, guys. So just understand, if that's the way it is in real life when you're talking to somebody face to face, it's so much worse online. All right. Let me see here. Hey there, Powie. Any thoughts on the Plan B and Corey Clipstain feud over the S2FX? I haven't even paid attention to that. You know what? I've really just given up on even paying attention to the S2F model. The more I sit here and really kind of consider it and go through it, I mean, I guess the way to say this, guys, and I realize, me, everybody thinks I'm bearish. I'm not bearish, guys. I'm trying to be realistic about what's going on in the market, okay? But the problem is most people, again, we buy and we expect, because the market goes right and up. And that's what we expect. We expect to buy and we expect price to go profitable so we don't have to worry about losing money, right? So everybody's got this bullish desire already innate inside of them. And then S2F models just gives, it just works on their whole greed and bullishness, right? But if you think about it, all the S2F model does is look at supply, guys. It looks at continuing supply. That's all it does. Which is fine and great as long as demand is at least where it is, if not greater. But if demand in any way shrinks, that S2F model becomes less and less relevant. Because all it has to do with is supply. But in life, it's not about supply, guys. It's about supply and demand. You can have as much supply or as little supply as you want. But if the demand is not there, price is going to go down. You can have 5. You can have something. There's only 5 in the world. But if you don't have 5 people vying, if you don't have 6 people vying for it, the price is going to stay stagnant, if not drop. If you only have 4 people going for it, your price is going to drop. It's not because you only have 4 people, but you have 5 of you. You have more supply than demand. So it doesn't matter that supply gets cut if demand is not staying, average or increasing. And that's only the supply created. If you look at the supply that's out there that could be dumped on the market as well, there's a lot more to it. The S2F model doesn't take any of that into account. So I really don't know what that particular feud is all about, honestly, but those are my thoughts about S2F. Now that in no way is a bearish look on the market, guys. That's just a realistic look at the methodology. I got excited about S2F at first as well, and then I kind of sat down and looked at it and started thinking about it. And when you take into consideration, the most basic concepts of economics, I mean, how does it make a lot of sense? Unless, demand continues to grow. So you actually have to take that position that demand is necessarily going to grow, or at least remain where it's at. And supply is not going to increase on the market. People that are holding are going to continue to hold. They're not going to dump on the market. There's a lot more to it than that. Let's see here. Let me see. Hey there, Onyx King. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Joe the Butcher, what's up, bud? Let's see here. Caesar, what's going on, man? Checking in from New Mexico. Man, I'll tell you what. Angel Fire is a beautiful place over there. Let me see. I'm completely right. Caesar says, my biggest losses have come from trying to force a trade versus waiting for the right entry. And that's a hard thing, guys. It's difficult to kind of, many times, to get patient, or I say to get patient, to learn patience by nature, especially if you think about technology and the way that things are constantly being made to get to you quicker. Look at Amazon, right? God, listen, man, I buy from Amazon all the time. It'd be stupid if you saw how many deliveries I get from Amazon. But the reality of it is, if you guys have been a part of they've changed, right? They had the regular shipping, and then they went to Prime, 2-day for most things. And now you can basically get stuff overnight. Sometimes you can get it that same day, depending on where you're at. So, and then technology. I grew up, again, I'm older. I grew up before Netflix and all this stuff, way before Netflix and all this stuff. Man, if I wanted to watch cartoons, Saturday morning, 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, I had to be up to watch cartoons. And then Mom and Dad would be like, get out of the house, go down, go play. And so, but now we have Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, again, their video stuff and all these other services. And now you can watch what you want, when you want. And they're available on all these devices, and we've got the internet to connect it. So you can get everything when you want it. Patience is not most people's forte these days. It makes it worse in the market, guys. You've got to be patient. Again, the key, one of the keys to trading is that you want to take the higher confidence trade. You don't want to enter a trade just because. If you're entering a trade just because, it means you're impatient. And impatience, more times than not, will lead to losses. Wait, and it doesn't matter. Whatever time frame you're trading, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Just wait for the higher confidence trade. You're going to take less losses, which means more often you're going to be successful. And when you're successful, it's probably going to be in a bigger way, which means over time, compounding in time means that your account will grow faster than it would if you're just taking any trade just because. You want a secret to trading? There's one of them right there. Yeah, you're welcome, Pally. Of course. Hank says, when you're bored, close your PC and go do something else. Don't go looking for a trade. I agree, guys, completely. You know me. I'm a big fan. Stop sitting in front of the computer all day, guys. Figure out what hours you want to trade and do it, and then do something else. Do not make trading something that you do 24/7. You will get burned out. You will get stressed out. You will become emotional. You'll become impatient. All the bad things that lead you to lose money are a direct result of you just sitting in front of the, or at least they're exasperated by you sitting in front of the monitor or in front of your phone, so many hours a day, looking at the charts. All right? Stop trying to be rich overnight. Just look to be profitable consistently. If you do that, you're going to be, I don't want to sit here and say, I can't guarantee that you're going to be successful, but my God, guys, if you want something that's going to at least give you a more likely chance of doing it, these are the steps you got to take. You got to stop doing the things you're doing. If you continue to do the things you're doing, you're going to continue to get the results that you've gotten. All right? Trader XO, what's up, buddy? See, Trader XO will tell you he's not in the market. Man, if you guys follow Trader XO, you watch him, man. He's always looking larger time frames. He's always looking at larger, significant support and resistance levels. So when he trades, when he gets in, it makes sense. He's more likely to be correct than be incorrect. Sure, he gets it wrong sometimes. We all get it wrong sometimes, guys. You are not going to get it right all the time. But I'll tell you what, I'm sure his strike record, I'm pretty sure his strike record is a lot better than most of y'all's. Because he waits. He finds the better opportunities, the ones that are more likely, the higher confidence trades. He doesn't enter just because there's a chance. Like he says, absolutely all about the high time frame levels. Exactly. Yeah, Zet, patience does not build by staring at the 5-minute Bitcoin chart all day. Exactly. Hank, instant gratification society? For sure. But these are all things, guys, that you can control. You know, again, guys, you're going to get on here. You're going to listen to other people other than me, especially if you're new. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you'll continue to come back. A lot of what I do here is we talk about the psychology of it. Why? Because I have actually an educational background in it. But these are things that I've overcome myself through the last 25 years. And they're things that most people don't talk about, or they just kind of gloss over it. But these are the things that make more of a difference in what you're doing than the charts themselves. All right? So hopefully you'll continue to come back if you're new. By the way, guys, you can join us at howtotradetowin.com. Follow us all over social media, guys. We've got so much stuff going on right now. I am so excited. We're going to be moving the offices around here, so I'm going to put this into the other office. So sometime this week, you're going to see a whole different behind me and everything. We're getting the whole live stream stuff looking a little bit more professional. We're going to get all that done because you guys deserve it. Why not, right? I don't want people coming here thinking I'm just some cheap guy or something. I work, you know. I don't usually think about this stuff, but I've talked to a few people, and so we're going to do some things. And then, again, follow us on all our social media, guys. You can get them up here, and we'll add them as we get new ones. Make sure you follow them across all of them, because we're going to start doing contests. We're going to start doing giveaways. We're going to start doing just all these different things, and really kind of get us out there. I've sat here for 3 years. We've been doing this, guys, and most of the time, these guys that have been with us forever, they'll tell you, I just sit there and I work. I put in all the information. I do it day after day after day. I'm actually getting to the point where I'm going to actually start pushing what we do here a bit. So it's an exciting time to be here. So any kind of contest or giveaways or discounts or anything we do, they're going to be available through social media. So you have to figure out where they are. So best thing to do is follow us, guys. All right. We'd love to have you there, man. By the way, Tier 3 is where it's at. Just in case you don't know, Tier 3, chart request, hot takes, which is our setups every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Man, those things are really just kicking some rear end. Doing really good on those. The big thing about Tier 3, guys, is weekly live stream education every Wednesday. We teach techniques and tricks and techniques and things to get you, even if you've never traded before, to get you trading successfully right away. As you're going through the rest of the education we have. I looked at it the other day. Between our normal market education, kind of explaining how the market works and starting from the basics to getting on to more advanced stuff, including Wyckoff and Elliott Wave and indicators and all these things. But we also, with what we have, all our recordings that we have from what we've been doing weekly on Tier 3, we've got over 31 hours of educational content, guys. So when you join, you get access to all of that. I don't know of a better place with better information or more education and more just everything than what we do, especially at our price points. So check us out, guys. We'd love to have you there. Let's go and jump on here. Hey there, JP. Is your audio okay? Are you having a problem with the audio? I'm being pretty loud here. So I'm actually making, I'm getting a little excitable here. I'm looking at my mic stuff there, and it's actually going into the orange quite a bit, but definitely the red at times there. Sorry about that if I'm blowing you guys away. Hey there, Alan. Good to see you. I got you all excited there, Onyx King. I'm excited, man. Lots of stuff going on. Let me see here. Alan's saying, as much as I want to be bullish, Chris is right on probabilities. CCI and Stochastic RSI look toppy on the 4-hour. Yeah, we'll see what happens. The thing is just to understand what may be going on, guys. So we'll look at that, right? What happens to the markets during the debate in the markets? Zet wants to know. Yeah, that'll be interesting, right? No, strike means positive. Your strike rate, how good you're doing. How many, if you take 10 trades, how many of them do you get correct? Which, guys, by the way, don't forget, you don't have to have a high strike rate. You can be absolutely ridiculously successful with 25, 30% of your trades turning out correctly. But you have to embrace risk management. Absolutely have to, all right? Just be sure you guys understand that. Let me see here. Alan says, Chris's education is awesome. His indicator trading is top-notch. Hey, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. JP, glad you got that audio stuff sorted out. JP was having a little issue with audio there on Twitch. I guess you just have to restart Twitch, guys. So, there you go. Sharon, what's going on, man? Good to see you. All right, guys, here's what we're looking at. So, every day I do a analysis in the morning for Discord, and then an hour or two later, I'll do a morning update, video update. And then at the end of the day, I'll do an end of the day video update. And during the day, if needed, I'll add some updates. Sometimes quite often, sometimes not at all. Just depends if the market needs it, right? So Friday morning's analysis, I said if we got above the local range, we had two targets. The second one was 10,960. We just about hit that this morning. So we're doing good. We're doing what we expected. If we dropped down, we had targets to the downside. But if we broke out of the range to the upside, we're doing what we expected. And so now the question is, okay, so what are we doing here? Are we locally here? Now, keep in mind, with all this said, this could be bullish. This could be a 1-2 working its way up. But, until we're getting above this swing high way up here at 12,500 almost, there's still a couple of possible bearish counts here, which just mean, counts to the downside. So the first one we're looking at is this. If this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so this is a 1, and this is a 2, and then this is a 1, 2. All right, possibly. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The thing I don't like about this is usually, if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, usually this interior, this subwave right here, usually terminates near the end of this wave of the larger degree. And it's up there quite a bit. It's about $300 above it. So I'm iffy about this. But, as long as it remains below this swing high up here, we've got a possible count. This does work out. And so what I'm looking at this time is this local range here. Now, if we drop through the bottom of the range, I'm looking to possibly target this box right here at 10,772 to 10,815. And that would be this wave 4 of C. And then I would look for a wave 5 to kind of target up here, the 85.4 right here at about 11,030. It could go up higher, but that's kind of where I'd be looking for it to target. As long as the rejection happens prior to this swing high up here at 11,183, as long as we get rejected prior to that, it's possible still. This is a 1, 2, 1, 2. And so let's say we get rejected there at the 85.4. We're going to be looking at getting below that 10,000 then and heading down. All right. Now, that's the first thing I'm looking at. If, however, price continues to go up above this 11,183, well, then things are a little bit different, but not necessarily bullish. Because at that point, what I'll be looking at, because we've got another count that says this could be a 1, and this is an A, B, C working as a 2. And in that case, overall, I'd be looking for price to get up here. Same thing I told you guys last week, 11,688, 11,700, this area right here around this high volume node is what I'd be looking for. And I have to adjust the count a bit, of course. But, if we're getting above that swing high there, that's what I'm thinking initially right there. Now, along the way, you're going to have to get above this EQ right here at about 11,300 or so. You got to get above that first to get up there. But we could be looking at that. Now, I did say this is, that it could be possible that this is, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 working here as a bullish count up, right? So with that, why would that be? Well, because, there's so many different counts we can look at here. But What you're really looking at on the daily here, guys, round numbers, you're looking at basically 10,000 and 11.2. That's your range, basically, more or less. 11.2, it's a little bit below. I think it's like 11.775, 11.779, somewhere around there. Basically 11,200 though, because this is that support resistance flip area. So if you get above that, that makes a strong case for potentially this is a 1-2 heading up. But as long as you're below that, your bias should, just on that alone, should still be to the downside overall. And if you drop below that 10,000 area, again, I think it's like 99.81 or something like that. But if you're dropping below that 10,000 area, you're most likely looking at this having that further downside coming in. Those are really the two levels that matter more than anything else at this time. On the bigger picture. Everything else we talk about is a shorter time frame, what may be going on. Yes, I say, this could be a 1 and we could have a 2 going up here. Again, just because we flip 11.2 doesn't mean we have to stay above it. It means the odds are increased that that we're likely to head up higher because of the importance of that area. As you can see, it works as support over here, and then it's working as resistance right here. So if you get back above it, the odds are increased you could be headed up further. But it doesn't guarantee it. And again, so that could still be, this A, B, and then work on a C over here. So, that's really where we are, guys. Notice, and nowhere there did I say we're definitely going down. Did I say we're definitely going up? I have my opinions based on everything, but my opinions are just that, they're opinions. And they're not staunchly held. They're not there, for me to hold in face of new evidence that says otherwise. If new evidence comes in, if new information comes in from the charts that suggest that, higher is much more likely than going down toward, 3,000 or lower, then I'll definitely be mentioning that. I'll change it. Sure, I'll lean more toward the bullish side of that. But until that happens, realistically, if we're zooming out here to the monthly, guys, you've got that bearish engulfing going on right there. Now, this monthly closes in a couple of days on Wednesday. The closer this price closes to the lows of this candle, the significantly more bearish this becomes. Right here, you could say, okay, maybe it's not hugely bearish here. It's definitely you should definitely be cautious, but it's you've got a nice long wick down here, so there's some possibility in it potentially just pulling back and heading higher. But the closer this closes down toward the end of this wick down here, the more significantly bearish this becomes. But that's still a couple of days off, so we'll see what happens there. But definitely be paying attention to that. Wait to see what happens with that. Let me see here. What's going on, Alonzo? Win 6,000? 6,000 right after 6,001 hits. Right after we hit 6,001, right after we drop below that, then we'll have 6,000. I hope you can see that smile. We'll see what happens with it. It's got to make it back down through 10,000, guys. By the way, as far as the monthly goes, that's another thing. 10,000 is a very psychological level. If the monthly is closing anywhere around 10,000, bulls have quite a bit of hope. It could close at 99.60 or something, and I still wouldn't say that is. I would say as far as 10,000 goes, that gives the bullish ideas a bit of support there potentially. It's not completely like, it closed below 10 and all of a sudden they can't, it's not going up at all. As long as price closes anywhere around 10 or above, I think, you can feel, you don't have to feel entirely depressive and price going down kind of idea then. But it does mean, especially, you do have to still be careful at it. It could hit that 10 kind of area for the close. And then the end of next month, it could close even lower. Because here's the thing, guys. We've got here in the U.S., we've got the election coming up, the first week or so of November. So whatever happens this month, let's say this month closes down. And even if it closes down toward the bottom of it, a nice big bearish engulfing candle like we were looking at, you still have to confirm it with the next month's candle. Well, the problem is the next month is October. And a lot of lack of certainty about anything because of the presidential election is going to be in a week from then. And so that could, again, guys, I'm expecting volatility through the end of the year across all markets. Because here in the U.S. we've got so much going on with, the elections and everything. Stuff should remain volatile. So what that means is, as a trader, great opportunities to trade. If you're an investor, it kind of hurts a bit. If you're trading Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies and you have to pay taxes and you plan to liquidate, some of your holdings when you go to pay your taxes, the trading will be good to make profits, but then, your longer term, what does that mean longer term? When it comes time to liquidate, to pay taxes, that might be an issue. There, you kind of caught that area there, because you can make these profits here, and then the value of everything just sink the next few months into the beginning of next year when you've got to pay your taxes. And so then you're paying a lot more. You're paying 3, 4, 5 times more that you've got to liquidate in terms of your crypto to pay those taxes. So keep those things in mind, guys, if you're doing it. If you're not paying taxes, God help you. I'm telling you guys, don't be stupid. Don't do anything like that. The government's going to look, and I say the government's just a bunch of people, but they're going to look for people that they can hang out to dry the bigger Bitcoin becomes. You don't want to be that person making a great bit of money and then, dodging taxes. That is a federal offense in the U.S., guys. The Department of Justice will come in, and do not think for a second they will slap you on the wrist. Do not think for a second that I didn't know will work. Federal government, they have no, courts in general hate to hear, I didn't know. They figure if you're doing something, you need to know what the laws are. Federal government's even worse. I say this because I've got a law degree, guys. I'm telling you. Not legal advice, but I'm just saying. Pay your dang taxes, guys. Pay your taxes. All right? Don't take the risk. Don't think that everything's going to be fine and you're going to be fine. The last thing you want to do is to get stuck in some federal penitentiary for 18 months or something or longer because you didn't pay your taxes. It's just not worth it's not worth the risk there, guys. Not at all, okay? Let me see here. If we bounce off of 6,001 straight to 30K, I won't ever hear the end of this prediction. Off into 30,000. Like I said, if it goes below 6,001, $6,000.56 and it pops up, I'll never hear the end of that, right? Where does 6,000 come? Here, let's change it. 6,000 comes after $6,000.01. Once that goes below that, there. If you guys are counting any lower than that, again, God help you. Let me see here. Telluride says, just a reminder here, it doesn't even matter if you leave the country or trade outside of it. You owe 100% of the usual taxes. Yeah, if you guys, listen, if you are, whatever your country is, guys, make sure you understand your tax laws. Here in the U.S., it doesn't matter if you're trading on exchange outside of the U.S. Don't think if you're VPNing into BitMEX and lying about where you're from and all that your stuff won't be tracked. It's easily tracked, guys. Oh my gosh, it is so easily tracked. Everybody's like, Bitcoin, is a good place to hide your money. No, it's not. It's not, guys. Oh, but privacy coins are so... No, they're not. No. There's a company out there right now that can actually find to 80-somewhat% accuracy your XMR. Yeah. XMR, privacy coin, right? Monero? And they're 80% correct. 80% positive identification of following your crypto, your Monero, and where it comes into it and where it leaves out of it. To follow you basically. So don't think for a second privacy coins mean you can't get tracked, guys. I'm going to tell you what right now, the government's on this stuff day in and day out. Is leverage trading legal? Sure it is. Some exchanges, the reason why BitMEX and other exchanges say that you're not allowed to use them if you're a U.S. resident or a resident of some other country is because of the laws that they have to comply with that are more expensive and more burdensome for them, and they don't want to deal with it. And that's why they say, you know what? I just would rather say, listen, we don't want U.S. people coming in here and trading on it. Now, there are ways around, though, depending on the country where you're at and where they're at and everything. Sometimes you can put together foreign corporations, to access, with foreign partners, where you can access the market through them, through that company. But you still have to pay taxes in the U.S., guys. If you're U.S., you still got to pay them. In whatever country you're in, just make sure that you're paying the tax you got to pay. It's silly not to. You don't want to get caught, guys. Let me see here. Yeah, I saw that, Kyle. The IRS changed the tax form to put the digital currency near the top. Have you received digital currency at any point in the year? Yeah. Got to make sure you guys, okay that. Got to do it. Let me see here. Let's see here. Telluritis says election is so soon, then a couple of months waiting for the results. And Lord, heaven forbid, I don't know what's going to happen with it. There's this big hubbub right now because they asked Trump if he would abdicate. If it was going to be a peaceful transition of power, if his challenger won, if Biden won. And he was like, well, we got to see what this is going to happen here and how it's going to turn out because those mail-in ballots already are an issue and blah blah blah. And I don't know that he would necessarily mean he's not going to, but I just mean that with that that creates the concern and the worry in the people, which is the market, guys. So the market's going to react with volatility as a result of that. So yeah. Mex is KYCing now too. I didn't even know that. Oh, by the way, Joe the Butcher. Yeah, so leverage trading is legal in the U.S. As a matter of fact, you can trade up to 5 times leverage, 3 times leverage on some of them at Kraken. You can trade with some leverage there. Sure, yeah. So there's where we at, guys. I mean, if we're looking at this 1 hour, 4 hour chart, you're moving. I always talk about this, guys. Again, used to be a pivots trader. That's all I did. You're moving in sideways between the pivot and the R1. You should expect a touch of the pivot or a touch of the R1 at minimum before price makes a decision. Most of the time, you'll either get a drop down here to pivot and it'll bounce and go up through the R1, or you'll push up the R1, you'll get rejected and come on down through the pivot. If the market is exceptionally bullish, every once in a while it'll be exceptionally bullish and you'll get a push up through the pivot and continue up without a rejection there. But, most of the time, you're going to get a bounce off the pivot or a rejection at the R1. It's usually the way it goes. If the market ends up being really kind of bearish in this area or whatever, it doesn't happen a whole lot, but you'll have you could have a drop from here through the pivot and head down. And just in general, when you're going through the pivots here, if you get an impulsive push through R1, you should be looking for that R2, potentially R3. If you get an impulsive push down through the pivot, you should be looking for the S1, potentially S2. I mean, that's, again, take the wider picture. That's as easy as it is to trade it right there. But right now, I'm leaning toward likely, again, this is that 11.1, 11.200 area here. So I'm looking at a rejection right around this area. Again, this is this more minor support resistance flip right here. You see how it's resistance and support. Resistance, support here. That's an 85.4% retracement of this move down. So that, that's right, right about that right there. 11,030 or whatever. So I'm kind of looking at that kind of area is to get a rejection. If this is a 1-2, 1-2, we should get a rejection there and send it on back down. And, your confirmation would definitely be a drop below that pivot. That would definitely, impulsive drop down through that pivot should say, yeah, that's the top in there. And you're heading below here. You're headed below here, most likely. Continuing down lower. Let's see here. Well, Zobia Dollars, what's going on? It says, am I liable to pay taxes if I'm from Africa and living in Europe? That depends on, I don't know African and European laws really. It depends, but most often the way they work is that it depends on where your country where are you a citizen of? So like here in the U.S., if U.S. citizens go and live abroad, let's say they don't renounce their U.S. citizenship, they keep their U.S. citizenship, but they're living in Europe or in Africa or anywhere else, or Russia or whatever, they still have to pay U.S. taxes because they're still citizens of the U.S. And most countries, to some degree, that's the most basic idea. You know, wherever you're a citizen of is where you're going to have to pay taxes, usually. Now, are you going to have to pay additional taxes wherever you're living? Maybe. You'll have to check with a tax professional where you're at to be sure on because I don't know what the African or European laws are to be exact, but generally that's the way most countries tend to work. So, yeah. Hank says citizenship doesn't matter in the EU. That's only for U.S. citizens, but I don't know what you mean by that. Doesn't matter for what? You pay taxes in the country you live in? Yeah. That's what I just said. Yeah. Oh, where you live in is what you're saying. Oh, okay. You're talking about in all of the EU if they're using it as one? Oh, okay. So even if you're a European citizen and you're living in the U.S., you would pay U.S. taxes? Because the U.S. won't charge you taxes like that because you're not a U.S. citizen. So in your case, you would say that you get out free. I don't think that's right. That doesn't sound right. I'll have to check on that because that doesn't sound right. Because that would mean, if you're if you're an EU citizen and you're living somewhere else in the world and that place is in charge of your taxes, then you don't have to pay taxes. So I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. I think there's something. It would seem to me logically that something's missing in that understanding. But I could be wrong. It just seems like, why would a government allow their people not to pay taxes? That's what governments live on, these tax stuff, or at least they live on that power. So, but like I said, I could be wrong completely. I could be. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If so, I need to go ahead and become a resident of some EU country and then live somewhere else. That's the way to do it. Let me see here. All right, so yeah, definitely check out Nigerian laws there, whatever your country would say there. Again, I don't know them specifically in how that would be, so you'd have to check with them to be sure. But don't ignore it, guys, because the U.S. is what it is as far as taxes go, but some places are so much worse. Last thing you want to do is get sent to the gulag or something. I don't know. Tier 4, we can purchase a compound in Puerto Rico. I don't know. I was all about that, kind of thinking about the whole Puerto Rico thing. But, man, they're having a heck of a year with the with that active hurricane season, man. I don't know. I feel, man. I feel for them over there. That poor gosh. And not just them, but a lot of the those Caribbean islands, man, getting just totally torn up by what's going on out that way. It's Tier 4. I don't know, guys. What could I possibly give in Tier 4? I mean, Tier 3 is like everything. Tier 3 is like all of me. What could I possibly do for you guys for a Tier 4 level? Oh, man, I'm not even sure about that. Onyx King says, fun fact, Portugal has no tax on crypto, trading, or crypto transaction. Onyx King says, Tier 4 Portugal residents. Oh, man. Compound in Belize. You guys are a mess. So, yeah, I mean, really, this is where we're at, guys. So, try not to zoom into the 15-minute and try and play just because. I mean, realistically, guys, when I was talking at the ranges earlier, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is not the place you go long or short. This is basically the absolute middle of the range. You don't go long or short there. I don't know how to make it any more clear. And some people will try to zoom into the 5-minute chart and kind of, really support their reason why they need to go long or short there. Guys, again, a quarter of a century of doing this, 25 plus years of doing this, I'm going to tell you now, you're not going to get a reason good enough on the 5-minute chart to tell you overall which way you should be going here. It's just not worth the risk. Let price move a bit and tell you where it's going to go and then trade that. Don't try to, I think what a lot of new traders try to do is they try to front run it. And, really you're just guessing. But don't trade on just guessing, guys. Again, you're going to end up losing out. Now, my thought personally right here is that we might have an ABC, ABC, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we just got this flat correction printing here is what I'm thinking is going on. But even with that, I wouldn't be willing to short right here. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The time to short would have been up here or up here. The time to long would have been down here. So wait and see what happens. Again, if you're breaking out up here, that suggests this is an ABC, 4 is done here, and then we're heading up, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. If we're dropping down below here, I don't think we're dropping down fully. I think it's just a finishing up of this flat correction to 4 here in this box and then up to 5. Now, all that said, if price drops below this swing low here, or even this swing low, or really for me, guys, normally it's the swing low I'm looking at, but I'm looking at the pivot, really. If you're dropping below the pivot, to me, that says the top's in. And, you just have to go in here and get some really small short count somewhere up in here to get a fifth wave or something. If you're looking at this and you're going, oh, well, but Chris, you're talking about this, being a 1, 2, 3, 4, but 4 is going to pull back into 1. Well, yeah, but then we're looking at, we'd have to be looking at an ending diagonal then. And so that would be like an A, B, C is a 1, and then a 2, A, B, C is a 3, and then a 4, and then an A, B, C is a 5. Yeah. It has to be. It can't even be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ending diagonals have to be ABCs. All waves have to be corrective. So it's a 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 interior wave structure. And all that means is each wave is 3 waves. Each wave is an ABC. So wave 1, again, wave 1 is an ABC. And you say, but what about this? And I say, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your A. Down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ABC gives you 1. ABC gives you 2. ABC gives you 3. And then ABC would give you 4, and then ABC up here would give you 5. Now, if we're looking at that, two things that I'm kind of looking at here going, well, we have this here playing out at the moment. You've got this bit of this, what would be a wedge, potentially playing out there. So, again, overlapping, ending diagonal, wave C, wedge. I mean, it makes sense. The only other thing that I'm looking at really is this right here. Because remember, this was larger candle spread, larger volume dropping through that, suggesting that this is a significant support resistance area. So if we're going to head up here toward, this higher 11,900 or something, price is likely to have to overcome, to go back over that. And I'm not sure that I see that really as something that I would expect at this time. So just a couple of things that I am watching, locally there and then further off as it does this. But it just comes out of the bigger picture I talked about earlier. If you have to be in zooming in, here's your 1 hour shot. That's kind of what we're looking at here. Again, locally what it is here, if it does get above that swing high, then all that means is that's an A, this is a B, and then, we just have to change the count up a bit. And then you've got, what accounts to a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 probably heading up there to that. So, yeah. Joe the Butcher says arranging Bitcoin is great for alt setups. Yeah, it's usually pretty good because as long as people are not too concerned with Bitcoin taking off or dumping, then, they're willing to jump into alts. You guys, a lot of times you ask about, well, what if Bitcoin, why do alts sell off when Bitcoin takes off? And then why do alts sell off when Bitcoin dumps? Well, because in either way, alts are many times kind of, people are trading alts to get more Bitcoin. And so they're losing value in terms of Bitcoin, or Bitcoin's taking off and, and that's all it has to do with why it usually happens there. So, yeah. Let me see here. So that'll do it, guys. It's 12 o'clock. I've got to get out of here. I appreciate you guys jumping in as always. Don't forget, you can join us over here at howtotradetowin.com. A lot more stuff going on there, guys. Like I said, 30 plus hours of educational content, including gosh, almost 10 plus hours of just tips, tricks, and techniques to get you trading immediately, even if you've never traded before in your life, never looked at the market before. These are things that you don't even think about. The rules are there. You do them, you do it. You've seen some of the, if you go to my Twitter profile there, my page, you'll see up at the top there, I've got pinned some comments. I've started adding those in there. A lot more from lately. People are loving this tier 3 educational stuff where they're learning all these techniques that they can use to make money like right away, which is great. Now that doesn't substitute for having to learn how the market works, guys. And that's all that other education. That's that other, whatever it is, 20 hours of education, 15 hours of education we have. That's all explaining you how the market works and how to use the indicators properly, and patterns and candlestick patterns and price action patterns and all that. But, of course, as well as introductions to Wyckoff and Elliott Wave and whatnot. But, yeah. A lot of great stuff in there, guys. You're not gonna be bored by a lack of learning. Let's put it that way. And then, of course, we do have our setups that we do throughout the week. And, of course, our daily updates, guys. Tier 3, we've got 19 assets that we do on a daily basis. We got more coming here probably the next couple of weeks. We'll be adding some more in there as well. And these get done, intraday and daily. So, usually get updated a few times a day with that. So gold, silver, a few Forex pairs, some crypto pairs, oil, natural gas, 3 indexes, NASDAQ, S&P, and the Dow Jones. So lots of great stuff there, guys. But even better than all that are the people, and I've talked to a few of them here. I've mentioned their names on here, guys, that are members of what we do, and they continue to be. So, a lot of times people wonder, is something worth it? Well, I've got to say, if you've got somebody continuing to pay the same thing month after month, they're not going anywhere. You must be doing something right. So there it is, guys. So you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll be back Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, so be sure to check us then. If you want, again, more timely updates and information and all this other fun stuff that we offer, join us at howtotradetowin.com. We'd absolutely love to have you with us. You guys take care. Don't forget, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. So it's all about that risk management, all right? Take care, guys. We'll see you later.